The emergency broadcast crackled through the observation deck, and I felt my 3 stomachs drop simultaneously. Yes, 3. Don't judge. Attention all personnel. The human specimen has breached containment in Botanical Research Wing 7. I repeat, the human has breached containment. I watched through the reinforced viewing panel as Karvik, our head botanist, went from purple to a sickly shade of green. Not a good look on a Threshen, let me tell you. How? Karvik's voice climbed 2 octaves higher than normal. How did it get past the molecular locks? According to security footage, the computer chimed in with absolutely zero helpful concern. The human simply pulled the door off its hinges. Of course it did. The human in question was one Marcus Webb, a freight hauler who'd been picked up 3 cycles ago after his transport vessel crashed on Outpost Thelen. Perfectly ordinary accident. Perfectly routine rescue operation. Except nobody had bothered to check the human physiological database before assigning him temporary quarters in the research station. Why would they? Humans were known quantities now. Fragile little creatures from a backwater planet who'd somehow stumbled into faster than light travel. Soft skin, weak bones, ridiculously short lifespans. The galaxy's newest comedy act, really, except Marcus Webb apparently hadn't read the script. Where is it now? I asked, trying to keep my primary tentacles from trembling. As station administrator, I was supposed to project calm authority. Hard to do when you're essentially an octopus in a suit. Sector 7 Theta, Security Officer Plenth reported, her compound eyes flickering through multiple visual spectrums at once. Currently in the extreme hazard greenhouse. The what? Karvik looked like he might molt from pure stress. The one with the Vendrix plants. The ones that killed 3 researchers last month, just from proximity exposure. Those would be the ones, yes. I activated the greenhouse camera feed, and what I saw made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Marcus Webb was standing there in his torn jumpsuit, covered in what appeared to be purple slime, grinning like an idiot while holding a Vendrix bloom approximately 3 inches from his face. The same Vendrix bloom whose pollen contained enough neurotoxin to drop a Krolavian battle tank in under 4 seconds. Is he, Karvik whispered, is he smelling it? I think he's smelling it, I confirmed, because the universe clearly had a sense of humor, and I was the punchline. The comm system crackled to life, and we heard Marcus Webb's voice, tinged with what I can only describe as mild confusion. Hey, whoever's listening. Yeah, this purple flower thing made my nose go all tingly. Pretty neat. Also, your door was stuck, so I fixed it. You're welcome. Fixed it. The human had ripped a reinforced security door off its moorings and called it fixing. Someone get me a hazmat team, I ordered, my tentacles now officially past the trembling stage and into full flail mode. And someone find out why we have a human who apparently thinks lethal neurotoxins are potpourri. Plentha's mandibles clicked together in what I'd learned was her species' equivalent of nervous laughter. Administrator Quelix, I don't think you understand. We sent a hazmat team 5 minutes ago. And? The human asked them if they were there to help him smell more flowers. I needed a drink. Maybe 5 drinks. Maybe I needed to retire and open that beachside vendor stall on Thessia Prime, like I'd always dreamed about. The security feed showed Marcus now moving deeper into the greenhouse, completely oblivious to the fact that every plant in there could kill him in increasingly creative ways. The morthak vines that dissolved flesh on contact. He brushed past them, leaving him with nothing more than what looked like a mild rash. The singing thorns that emitted sonic frequencies designed to liquefy internal organs. He paused, tilted his head, and said something we couldn't quite make out over the comms. Can someone boost the audio? I asked, already dreading the answer. The technician, a young Vexen named Trilp, worked her controls with all 4 hands. The audio cleared up just in time for us to hear Marcus Webb say, with absolute sincerity, "Oh hey, this plant sounds just like my neighbor's car alarm." Neat. 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 Karvik was now a color I didn't have a name for in any of the 17 languages I spoke. What do we do? Trilp asked, her voice small and terrified. Good question. Outstanding question. Question of the century, really. Standard protocol says we evacuate the sector and vent it to space, Plenth offered, though she didn't sound convinced. We can't vent a human to space. I snapped, though honestly, at this point I was considering it. The Galactic Council would have our heads. Well, my head. Whatever equivalent applies to all of you. Then what do we do? Karvik demanded, finally finding his voice along with what appeared to be the beginning of a nervous breakdown. That human is currently handling a widow's breath plant. Do you know what widow's breath does? It releases a paralytic agent so potent that it stops neural activity in under a second. We use it for emergency euthanasia protocols. On screen, Marcus Webb was indeed holding a widow's breath plant, turning it over in his hands with the casual interest of someone examining a particularly nice houseplant at a garden center. His voice crackled over the comm, this one makes my fingers go numb. That's wild. Numb. His fingers were going numb, and he thought it was wild. I'm calling command, I decided, reaching for the emergency communications panel. This is above my pay grade. Way above. Possibly above everyone's pay grade. Wait, Plenth held up one of her forelegs, her eyes focused on something off-screen. He's moving again. We watched in collective horror as Marcus Webb made his way toward the back of the greenhouse, where we kept the truly experimental specimens. The ones that didn't have names yet. The ones that existed purely because the universe apparently enjoyed creating new and innovative ways to end life. No, 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 Karvik chanted, now rocking back and forth. Not the synthesis chamber. Please, not the synthesis chamber. The synthesis chamber was where we'd been attempting to crossbreed various toxic plants to create new pharmaceutical compounds. It was also home to something we'd tentatively labeled Project Thanatos, a hybrid creation that combined the deadliest attributes of 6 different botanical horrors. Project Thanatos had already killed its own seedlings. It emitted toxins that could penetrate standard hazmat suits. It was less a plant and more a concentrated expression of the universe's hostility toward organic life, and Marcus Webb was walking straight toward it. Okay, he said, his voice coming through crystal clear, as he stopped in front of the containment unit housing Project Thanatos. Now this is a cool-looking plant. All black and purple and glowy. Can I touch it? No, we all shouted in unison, even though we knew he couldn't hear us. He touched it. We held our collective breath, waiting for the inevitable. Waiting for Marcus Webb to collapse, to seize, to do literally anything that indicated he understood he'd just touched something that could theoretically wipe out a small city. Marcus Webb sneezed. Then he said, and I swear on every deity in the known galaxy these were his exact words, "Oh man, that tickles." Karvik fainted. Just straight up collapsed onto the deck plating. Get me command, I said quietly, never taking my eyes off the screen. Get me command right now. And someone start pulling Marcus Webb's medical records. All of them. Every single test we've run since he arrived. What are you thinking? Plenth asked. I'm thinking, I said slowly, watching as the human gently patted Project Thanatos like it was a beloved pet, that we might have fundamentally misunderstood something very important about humans. What's that? That they are fragile. On screen, Marcus Webb was now sitting cross-legged on the greenhouse floor, surrounded by enough botanical death to exterminate a battle fleet, eating what appeared to be his lunch rations and humming tunelessly to himself. And that's when the real trouble started. The medical records arrived approximately 3 minutes after I requested them, which was exactly 2 minutes and 50 seconds longer than I wanted to wait. My assistant, a nervous planarian named Voss, dropped the data pad so hard it cracked against my desk. Administrator Quelix, you need to see this. Now. I grabbed the pad with 2 tentacles while using a third to keep Karvik upright. He'd regained consciousness, but looked like he might pass out again at any moment. These readings cannot be correct, I muttered, scrolling through page after page of impossible data. His bone density is off the charts. His muscle tissue composition is. Wait. Is this right? His cellular structure shows evidence of something called mitochondria operating at 4 times the efficiency we documented in the human database. Keep reading, Voss urged, wringing his appendages together. I did. And with each line, I felt my understanding of reality crack, just a little bit more. Marcus Webb wasn't from Earth. Well, he was from Earth, but not the Earth we had in our records. Not the comfortable, temperate little garden world we'd catalogued. According to his intake file, which someone had apparently skimmed rather than actually read, Marcus Webb was from a place called Australia. Computer, I called out, fighting to keep my voice steady. Pull up the Terran planetary database. Specifically, regional analysis of the continent designated Australia. The holographic display flickered to life, and I immediately wished it hadn't. Warning, the computer announced cheerfully, because of course it was cheerful. The region designated Australia is classified as a Class 7 death world by Galactic survey standards. Indigenous life forms include over 200 species capable of killing an adult human. Extreme temperature variations. Toxic flora and fauna. Frequent natural disasters including wildfires, floods, and... oh my. Something called drop bears. That can't be real, Plenth said, reading over my shoulder. Nothing evolves to be that hostile to its own inhabitants. Want to bet? I pulled up the environmental analysis. Australia's UV radiation levels would sterilize most known species. The average summer temperature exceeds what we use for industrial smelting processes in some regions. And according to this, the humans there consider it a nice place to raise children. Karvik made a sound like a dying engine. But humans are supposed to be weak. Fragile. They have no natural defenses, no armor plating, no venom, no. Oh no. Oh no no no. What? I demanded. Don't you see? Karvik's voice was barely a whisper. They don't need natural defenses. They are the defense. They survived on a planet that actively tried to kill them for millions of years. They are not the prey species we thought they were. They are persistence predators who evolved to outlast everything that tried to eat them. On the monitor, Marcus Webb had finished his lunch and was now exploring the greenhouse with the enthusiasm of a tourist at a botanical garden. He'd found the screaming lilies, plants whose psychic emissions could drive most sentient species to madness within minutes. You know what? Marcus's voice carried clearly through the comm. These guys sound just like my ex-wife. Ha! I'm just kidding. I'm not married. But seriously, they're kind of soothing once you get used to the screaming. Soothing. The madness-inducing shriek plants were soothing. Okay, I said, trying to rally my scattered thoughts into something resembling a plan. New strategy. We're not treating this as a containment breach anymore. We're treating this as a first contact scenario with a potentially hostile entity. Hostile? Trilp squeaked from her station. He doesn't seem hostile. He's just touching things. He's touching things that could kill us, I corrected. Which means he's either incredibly stupid or incredibly dangerous, and I'm not willing to bet on stupid anymore. The door to the observation deck slid open, and in walked Director Halvon, our station's highest-ranking official. A Corthan of impressive size and even more impressive temper, Halvon took one look at the monitors and growled. Someone want to explain why I'm hearing reports of a human playing in my experimental death garden? That's actually a very accurate summary, I admitted. Halvon's 4 eyes narrowed to dangerous slits. Get it out. Now. Before it damages something expensive. With respect, Director, I don't think you understand. That human is from Australia. So Australia is a Class 7 death world. We've been operating under the assumption that humans were a Class 2 species. We were wrong. Very, very wrong. Halvon stared at me for a long moment, then at the monitor where Marcus Webb was now juggling 3 death cap pods while whistling. The same death cap pods that exploded when jostled, releasing spores that could colonize and destroy organic tissue in hours. Explain, Halvon said flatly. So I did. I explained about the medical records, about the environmental data from Australia, about how Marcus Webb had been exposed to enough toxins in the past 20 minutes to kill everyone on the station 50 times over and had suffered nothing worse than tingling and numbness. But that's not even the concerning part, I continued, pulling up another data file. The concerning part is what happened when we analyzed his blood sample from intake. Computer, show the director the antibody analysis. The hologram shifted, displaying a complex molecular structure that made Halvon's expression shift from annoyed to alarmed. Those are, he started, then stopped. Are those adaptive antibodies? Updating in real time, I confirmed. His immune system isn't just fighting off the toxins. It's learning from them. Every new substance he's exposed to makes him more resistant to similar compounds. He's not just surviving the greenhouse. He's adapting to it. On screen, Marcus had discovered the crystalline, the glassine mantis plants, whose razor-sharp leaves could slice through standard combat armor. He was running his hand along one, looking mildly annoyed. Oh? Okay, that one's actually sharp. Nice. Hey, if anyone's listening, you might want to put up a warning sign or something. Someone could get a paper cut from this bad boy. A paper cut. He'd just sustained multiple lacerations from a plant that could fill it a Gorthian warrior, and he was worried about paper cuts. Director, Plent spoke up hesitantly, we have another problem. The human's been in there for 47 minutes now. According to atmospheric sensors, the oxygen-nitrogen ratio in that greenhouse has shifted to levels that should be causing hypoxia in humans. And? Halvon prompted. And he just did 15 jumping jacks. We all turned to stare at the monitor. Sure enough, Marcus Webb was doing some kind of bizarre exercise routine, apparently working up a sweat in an atmosphere that should have rendered him unconscious. Why? Karvik asked, his voice distant and broken. Why is it exercising? Maybe, Voss suggested quietly, maybe he's bored. That was somehow worse than any other explanation. Right, Halvon said, his command voice snapping everyone to attention. New plan. We're going to make contact. Properly this time. Quelix, you're coming with me. Me? Why me? Because you're the administrator, and if this goes wrong, I want witnesses to testify that I followed proper protocol before the human killed us all. Not encouraging. Not encouraging at all. 10 minutes later, Halvon and I stood outside the greenhouse entrance, both of us wearing full hazmat suits that we knew would provide approximately zero protection if Marcus Webb decided to get creative. Remember, Halvon said, his voice muffled through the helmet, we approach slowly. We speak calmly. We do not make any sudden movements. You're describing how to approach a predator, I pointed out. Yes. Yes, I am. We entered the greenhouse, and immediately I understood why Marcus had ripped the door off. The atmosphere hit like a physical wall, thick with spores and toxins and things that probably didn't even have names yet. My suit's filters screamed warnings that I deliberately ignored. Marcus Webb was sitting under a widow's breath tree, braiding together stems from various lethal plants into what appeared to be a decorative wreath. Oh hey, he called out, spotting us. You guys here to help? I was thinking this place could really use some organization. Like, maybe group the plants by color. Right now it's just kind of random. Halvon and I exchanged glances. Mr. Webb, Halvon began carefully, do you understand where you are? Yeah. The greenhouse. The door was stuck so I came in to check it out. Pretty cool collection you've got here. Although I gotta say, most of these plants seem a bit dramatic. Like, that one over there. He pointed to Project Thanatos. Acts all scary with the glowing and the smell, but it's actually kind of sweet once you get to know it. Responds well to gentle touches. Probably just needs more sunlight. Sweet. He'd called our most lethal creation sweet. Mr. Webb, I tried, keeping my voice level, those plants are extremely dangerous. They could kill you. Marcus looked confused. Kill me? These? Nah, they are harmless. I mean, sure, they're a bit tingly and some of them smell weird, but dangerous. Come on. They're just plants. Just plants. Just plants. Sir, Halvon said, his patience clearly wearing thin, you've been exposed to enough neurotoxins to kill a battalion. You should be dead. Multiple times over. Marcus Webb blinked at us. Then he laughed. Actually laughed, a big hearty sound that echoed through the greenhouse. Oh man, you guys are messing with me, right? These are like, exotic houseplants or something. Totally safe. Here, watch. Before we could stop him, Marcus grabbed a handful of widow's breath leaves and took a bite. Karvik's voice crackled over our helmet comms. He's eating it. Sweet merciful cosmos, he's eating the widow's breath. Marcus chewed thoughtfully, then swallowed. Bit bitter. Could use some ranch dressing. But yeah, see. Totally fine. You guys worry too much. And that's when I realized the truth. The terrible, inevitable truth. We weren't studying humans anymore. We were being studied by them. Every restriction we put in place, every safety protocol, every warning label was just an invitation for humans to prove they didn't need it. We'd invited them to the Galactic stage thinking they were harmless. We were so very wrong. Mr. Webb, I said slowly, I think we need to have a very long conversation about your planet. Australia. Sure. Great place. I mean, everything there tries to kill you, but you get used to it. Builds character. Builds character. Of course it does. As we escorted Marcus Webb out of the greenhouse, past every lethal specimen he'd treated like a petting zoo, I made a mental note to update the human classification in our database, Class 2 species. Not even close, Earth needed a new designation. Something that properly conveyed the horror of a world that produced creatures like Marcus Webb, maybe Class 10. Maybe we needed to invent Class 11. Behind us, Project Thanatos seemed to lean toward the door, as if watching Marcus leave. I swear it looked disappointed.